Manlio, it's Blair. I'm going to do a short little video because we're having a hard time meeting. This tree over here that you call the pine tree is actually a Monterey cypress, and it is infected with a disease called pitch canker. You'll see that up on the trunk of the tree there's oozing of pitch all the way down. And it's very common in this variety of tree, and it'll ultimately die. It's losing its foliage, but it's not dead or dying yet, but I anticipate that you're going to want to get rid of it at some point along the line. It is making a mess. These two little trees here, this is another type of cypress. These are the Leland cypress. I know they're very young trees, but if you look at the trunks of these, you can see that this has the exact same problem. It's pitch canker. If you look all the way up and down the trunk, you see all the pitch cracking and oozing all the way down. And these trees can linger like this for a long time, but ultimately it kills the tree. And my recommendation is get rid of them now and put in something that is not susceptible to this disease. This eucalyptus right here, I would get rid of it. It's mostly dead, looks like hell. It's right in the area where all your fruit trees should be, and you certainly don't want a giant eucalyptus tree here. The two elm trees, they're already starting to get into the fireplace there and starting to get over the building. There's a lot of dead wood. Some of these branches are getting a little heavy. This long branch here, that one's a good candidate for a break. That's going all the way down. There's a weakness right here. This one over here is also pretty heavy, so I'd do some lightening on those trees. Thinning them up, get them away from the building. The oak that's over here, it's starting to touch the building, or real close to it will be this soon. So down low, that should come back. Up high, that should come back. As for your fruit trees, there's some fruit on them, and I don't like to prune the trees when there's fruit. Maybe just a few snips on, like the plum, just to keep it from breaking any branches. You need to improve the health of your orchard more than anything else. Relying on drip irrigation is a mistake. There's very little water that gets to the trees when you do just drip, and right now they're looking as good as they can be because of the winter rains, but I would definitely do a little bit of modifications to the soil. The apple tree right here, it looks like the deer are starting to get to this. I see you've taped it up, but I would cut this off and clean this up. And if you could do a deer fencing around this whole area, that would be great. Okay, further on, let's see. You've got some cherries. Cherries don't require a whole lot of pruning. You've got some plums. At this point, I would leave them alone as well. Some of these trees are a little bit too crowded. There's a persimmon over there that could be snipped back. The apricot is, I think it's seen better days. I think you'd be better off to get rid of it completely and start with a new apricot or a new fruit tree, whatever you choose. And this cherry tree, I don't see any cherries up there. There should be some. Maybe they came in early and they're gone. There's quite a few plums on this tree. Little heavy. Sometimes some fruit trees you'll get a really heavy crop, and I would go through and thin out some of these. Some of the ones that are not looking so good. When you have 4 or 5 in one area, if you spin off 1 or 2, then that keeps this branch from getting overloaded with weight, and you'll end up with better fruit. When you see fruit that's looking kind of scarred and blistered like that, then obviously that's a good idea to get rid of that. You've got some of the, these are nectarines, I'm sorry, you've got some of the peach leaf curl that you'll get on both peach trees and nectarines. I call it a plum, I'm sorry, it's a nectarine. But these are varieties of trees that can get extremely heavy, and they oftentimes will break branches because of too many fruit. So they're a fairly high maintenance tree. I wouldn't do a lot of pruning at this point. I would recommend more managing of the fruit. Now here's an idea for you. I mentioned this to your wife. You've got a fence, an existing fence that goes all the way around for the corral portion here. Now if you were to build another fence, you can make it about the same height as this one and completely enclose your fruit tree area all the way up to the building that you've got over there. Let's see if we can go over and check that out. Got that little tiny building way over here. You could follow your wall You could have a gate right here, follow the wall all the way up and over, and then tie into that other fence. Then you can put some extensions on both of the fences and then just string some wires up so it would be not as obtrusive looking. You could paint it white, do whatever you want to, and make it an attractive landscape feature. But that would accomplish a couple of things. That would give you a animal-proof area that would keep the deer out. You could possibly maybe get rid of that little oak tree down there and plant some, some raised beds, have an area where you can have some vegetables and some food, things that are going to get wiped out by the deer. But by separating out that area, then you're not going to be fighting the animals as much. And you've got an awful lot of competition in here. You're trying to put oleanders in here with your fruit trees. You've got some wild things come up here. Looks like a Scotch broom's coming up. So I would designate this your fruit tree orchard and not try to have so much in here. The yeuk's a mistake. That little oak over there is a mistake. This plant here is a mistake. All the oleanders. Get it all opened up, and then you could start improving the soil. You can start bringing in some compost. I would recommend to improve the berms. Create. This is an example of a berm here. This one's not bad, but this one over here is kind of raised up. So when you do water, in a lot of these cases, the water just runs off. So if you created like a 4-foot berm around each of these trees, then the water that you do add to it's going to help out, and it's going to stay. And finally, I would mulch this whole area. You could do it with wood chips. They're free. You could buy an attractive mulch. There's a lot you can do, but a delineation of the orchard, from the pool area, from the house, and your regular landscape, your decorative landscape, then this whole area over here could be more of a functioning, working orchard/garden area. Those are my thoughts. Take it for what it's worth, and I'll talk to you later.